The bite that wasn't mine. Night over Queens. New York never truly sleeps. But that night, Queens felt wrong. Spider-Man swung over Roosevelt Avenue, mask pulled tight, trying to ignore the icy chill crawling down his neck.
The air buzzed, not with traffic, not with neon, but with something unnatural. Like wings. Millions of them. Peter muttered under his breath. Okay, Parker, either it's a giant mosquito convention, or trouble just RSVP'd. The first victim. He found her in an alley behind a 24-hour bodega. A woman, early 20s, shaking violently. Her skin pulsed with grotesque lumps, her eyes glazed over with insect-like pupils. From her mouth poured a faint green mist, and her scream was more chitter than human. "Ma'am, you okay?" Spider-Man landed carefully, hands raised. Her back cracked, wings sprouted, wet, twitching too many joints. And then she lunged, claws slicing at him. Peter dodged, firing webbing to pin her arms. Okay, not okay, definitely not okay. But as she hissed, something crawled out of her throat. An insect larva, the size of a fist, glowing faintly, buzzing its wings like knives. The infection. Spider-Man smashed the larva against the wall, but the damage was done. The woman collapsed, body turning into a cocoon-like shell. Her veins glowed. Her scream turned into silence. Peter's stomach twisted. His spider sense buzzed louder than ever. He looked up and saw dozens of cocoons strung across the alley walls, pulsing, twitching. Inside them were people. Enter the Broodborn. The ground shook. The cocoon split. And from the largest emerged something that made Peter's heart stop. An insectoid monstrosity, half humanoid, half alien mantis, its body armored in black-green chitin that shimmered under the streetlights. Its head crowned with jagged horns, mandibles clicking like swords sharpening against each other. Its voice was not sound, but vibration, carried through the air and into Peter's bones. "We are Broodborn. This world is fertile. You are prey." Peter's throat went dry. "Oh, great. And I left my bug spray at home." The swarm awakens. With a screech, the Broodborn spread its wings. Dozens of drones poured out of the cocoons, clawed, fanged, glowing with parasitic energy. Spider-Man swung upward as the swarm surged below him, tearing through cars and storefronts like paper. Note to self, he gasped mid-swing. Next time, move to Cleveland. He fired web after web, pinning drones to lampposts, smashing two against each other, flipping off a wall to kick another into a dumpster. But for everyone he stopped, 3 more rose. Clash in the streets. The Broodborn leaped, faster than Peter expected. A claw slashed across his chest, sparks flying as it cut into his web shooters. Peter yelped, firing a desperate shot that glued the creature's jaw shut. "Yeah, big guy. Keep your dental problems to yourself." But the Broodborn tore free, roaring, its mandibles splitting into 4 razor-edged fangs. Acid saliva hit the pavement, burning holes. The drones shrieked, swarming in synchronization with their master. The bite. Spider-Man was cornered, pinned against a wall, drones circling, the Broodborn towering above. It leaned close, mandibles dripping. Its voice crawled into Peter's skull. "You are chosen. 1 bite, and you will be ours. Your gifts will feed the hive." Its claw pierced his shoulder. Peter screamed, and the mandibles sank toward his neck. Counterstrike. Instinct. Spider sense. Desperation. Peter had but the Broodborn with everything he had, cracking one of its mandibles. He fired a double web shot point blank into its eyes, blinding it for a heartbeat. With a roar, the Broodborn staggered back. Spider-Man swung high, chest burning, shoulder bleeding, heart racing. His breath came ragged, his mind spinning with terror. For the first time in years, Peter Parker wasn't sure if he could win. Revelation. The Broodborn recovered, wings snapping open like blades. It raised its head and shrieked, a sound that shattered glass across the block. From the sky, more pods rained down. Glowing meteors crashing into rooftops, splitting open, spilling more drones into the streets. Peter looked around, eyes wide. This wasn't an attack. This was an invasion. The Oath, hanging from a web line, blood dripping from his shoulder, Spider-Man stared at the chaos below. Civilians screamed, trapped in web cocoons, dragged into alleyways. Drones climbed skyscrapers, covering them in pulsating organic growth. The Broodborn spread its claws like a king claiming his throne. Peter muttered to himself, "Not in my city, not while I'm breathing." And despite the fear crawling through every nerve, he swung back into the fight. City of cocooned souls. Dawn in chains. New York City woke to horror. Where there should have been traffic horns and morning news chatter, there was only buzzing, millions of wings. Entire blocks were shrouded in black-green silk, thick alien webbing glistening in the rising sun. Buildings dripped with hive mucus. Civilians hung cocooned from lampposts, bridges, even subway ceilings. Their bodies twitched as if something moved beneath their skin. From the rooftops, Spider-Man swung, eyes wide. His chest wound burned from the Broodborn's claw, but he couldn't stop moving. Every second wasted meant another life lost. God, this is like Aliens meets National Geographic on steroids, he muttered. His radio crackled. It was MJ's voice, panicked. Peter, the bridges, people are trapped inside. The things are feeding on them. Peter clenched his jaw. Hang on, MJ. I'm coming. The hive expands. He swung on a Brooklyn bridge and froze. The entire span had been converted into a massive insect nest. Towers wrapped in silk, cables covered in pulsating green veins, cars overturned and webbed together into grotesque cocoons. Hundreds of civilians dangled in sticky sacks, their muffled screams vibrating through the air. Alien drones crawled over them, injecting fluids, sealing them tighter. Spider-Man's fists tightened. Not on my watch. The battle for Brooklyn Bridge. He dove in. Webs flew in every direction, snagging drones, yanking them off cocoons, slamming them into one another. He swung low, grabbed a cocoon child, and pulled him to safety before an insect could pierce him. Okay, buddy, he grunted, ripping the silk apart. Rule number 1. Don't let creepy alien bugs turn you into a snack pack. The child coughed, sobbing but alive. The drones hissed, wings buzzing louder. A wave of them leapt. Spider-Man twisted midair, unleashing a web-sling tornado, slamming them into the bridge's steel beams. But even as he fought, more came. For every one he stopped, 2 more swarmed. The Queen's whisper. Then came a voice. Low, crawling. Inside his skull. You fight for them, yet they are already ours. Look inside their cocoons. Look, Spider-Man. Peter's spider sense blared. He spawned too late. A cocoon ripped open beside him, revealing a man half-transformed. His arms were human, but his chest was crawling with insect armor. Mandibles jutted from his jaw, eyes glowing green. The man screamed, a sound between human pain and insect rage, before lunging at Spider-Man. Peter webbed him back, heart sinking. They're turning them. The Broodborn arrives. A shadow fell. The Broodborn landed atop the bridge, wings spread like a demonic angel. The hive god stood taller now, its body swelling, armored plates glowing with alien energy. Its mandibles clicked, and its voice vibrated through the entire structure. They are reborn through us. Humanity is weak flesh. We give them strength, purpose, eternity. Spider-Man glared, fists clenched. You're not giving them eternity. You're stealing their humanity. The Broodborn tilted its head. And you, Spider-Man, are the key. Your altered blood resists us, but merge with the hive, and the world becomes ours. The chase. Before Peter could answer, the Broodborn screeched and leapt, claws tearing through steel cables like string. Spider-Man dodged, swinging between collapsing beams as drones swarmed around him. Cars exploded, civilians screamed. Acid burned holes through the roadway. Peter fought, flipping between wreckage, saving who he could, but the hive was everywhere. He felt the city being swallowed alive. And then he saw MJ. She was across the bridge, tangled in silk, screaming as drones dragged her toward a pulsating cocoon pit. Desperation. Peter's heart dropped. MJ. He swung faster than he'd ever moved, every muscle screaming, webs snapping under strain. He landed in front of her, kicking drones away, webbing others into steel beams. "MJ, I got you. Hold on," he shouted, ripping silk from her arms. But the Broodborn descended behind him, tail slamming into the ground like a spear. "You cannot save them all. Choose." Dozens of cocooned civilians dangled beside MJ, screaming. The hive tightened its grip on them, ready to consume. Peter froze. His spider sense screamed louder than ever. He couldn't save everyone. Not in time. The sacrifice. MJ looked at him, tears in her eyes. "Peter, don't you dare choose me. Save them." His throat tightened. "No, not again. I won't lose you." But his instincts, the part of him that had always carried great responsibility, knew what had to be done. He fired webs in every direction, yanking cocooned civilians free, pulling them into the water below, better drowned than devoured. He grabbed as many as he could, his body moving like lightning. But in that split second, the Broodborn's claw wrapped around MJ. Peter screamed. "No!" The insect god lifted her high, mandibles opening. The hive's claim. The Broodborn held MJ like a prize, its voice vibrating through the bridge. "See how even your heart can be broken. Join us, Spider-Man, or watch her become my queen." Peter froze. His heart pounded like a drum. His mind raced. His body ached. His soul screamed. He couldn't fight forever. The city was falling. The people were transforming. And now, MJ's life dangled in claws sharper than death itself. The making of a queen. The claws of fate. The Broodborn's claws gripped MJ like a doll. Her screams echoed over the bridge, muffled by silk wrapped around her chest. Spider-Man crouched low, hands trembling on the web shooters. His mask hid his face, but inside, Peter Parker was unraveling. "Think, Pete. You've been outnumbered before. You've faced gods, monsters, symbiotes. But this?" The alien god leaned close to MJ, mandibles dripping acid. "She carries your scent, Spider-Man. Stronger blood. A perfect vessel. She will be my queen." Peter's voice cracked behind the mask. "You lay one claw on her, and I'll." "You will what?" The hive god hissed. "Fight until your body breaks. Swing until your webs run dry. Even you cannot stop evolution." Fighting with fury, rage overtook fear. Spider-Man launched forward, webs firing rapid fire, wrapping around the Broodborn's arms, its throat, its wings. He yanked with everything he had, slamming the insect god against the steel cables of the bridge. Not her. He leapt, fists crashing into its armored skull. 1, 2, 3 blows. Each strike rattled his bones. The Broodborn screeched, acid blood spraying across the bridge, burning holes through concrete. Drones dove at Peter, but he spun into a whirlwind of web, hurling them into the water below. For a moment, just a moment, he felt like he was winning. The sting. Then the Broodborn's tail lashed out. It pierced Spider-Man's side, venom surging into his veins. Pain exploded through his body. His web line snapped, and he crashed hard onto the bridge, gasping for air. The hive god loomed over him, wings spread wide, MJ squirming in its claws. Even the strongest insect dies with a sting. Peter clawed at the wound, vision blurring, muscles failing. His spider sense buzzed weakly, drowned in venom. And above him, MJ cried out as silk wrapped around her face, leaving only her eyes visible, eyes filled with terror. The ritual begins. The Broodborn carried her toward a massive cocoon pit, a nest pulsating with alien energy. Tendrils rose from it, glowing green, reaching for her. The hive has waited for a queen. Through her, our swarm will think, speak, grow. She will be the voice of extinction. Peter crawled, dragging himself across the cracked bridge, blood seeping from his wound. "No, MJ, please." He fired a weak web line. It snapped halfway. His strength was failing. The hive song. Suddenly, a vibration shook the bridge, not from outside, but from within. The cocoons around them pulsed. The transformed civilians began to chant in insect-like clicks, their voices merging into a haunting rhythm. It was the Hive's song, a call, a coronation. MJ's body lifted into the air, suspended by alien silk. Her veins glowed faintly green. Her skin shimmered with unnatural patterns. "Peter," she whispered weakly, before the Hive's silk covered her mouth. Peter's heart shattered, a desperate gambit. His vision blurred, but his mind burned with one thought. Not her. Not ever. He forced his body up, every muscle screaming, every nerve aflame with venom. "H-E-Y, bug brain," he roared, voice echoing across the hive-infested bridge. The Broodborn turned. Peter aimed his web shooter, not at the Hive god, but at the bridge itself. He yanked down a steel cable, swinging it like a whip. It crashed into the Broodborn's side, staggering it. He leapt with all he had left, slamming both feet into the alien's chest. The Broodborn screeched, wings cracking, stumbling backward into its own cocoon pit. MJ fell free, crashing onto the bridge, still wrapped in silk but alive. Peter landed beside her, gasping, pulling at the bindings. "I got you, MJ. I swear I got you." But her eyes glowed faintly green. The Queen awakens. She spoke in two voices at once. "Peter, and beneath it, he cannot run. She is ours now." The Broodborn rose from the pit, stronger than before, its body pulsating with energy siphoned from the Hive. Its mandibles spread wide in a grotesque grin. "Through her I live. Through her I rule. She is mine, Spider-Man. And soon, so will you be." Peter's stomach dropped. MJ wasn't just a hostage anymore. She was becoming the Hive Queen. The choice. Spider-Man stood frozen, chest heaving, blood dripping, venom burning in his veins. The woman he loved, the reason he fought every day, the reason he endured every loss, was being twisted into the very monster he was trying to stop. If he fought the Broodborn, MJ could be consumed. If he saved MJ, the city would fall. His mask hid his tears, but they came anyway. Why is it always like this?" he whispered. The Hive God's ultimatum. The Broodborn raised its wings, a storm of drones filling the sky behind it. The city below buzzed with millions of alien voices. "Kneel, Spider-Man, join the Hive. Save her. Refuse, and watch as she becomes my eternal bride." The world seemed to stop. Peter's fists shook. His body screamed to collapse. His heart screamed to surrender. But deep inside, the boy who had once let Uncle Ben down remembered the words that defined his life. With great power comes great responsibility. And responsibility meant sacrifice. The fall of the spider. Broken but standing. The wind howled across Brooklyn Bridge, carrying with it the endless droning of wings. The city was no longer New York. It was becoming a hive. Towers wrapped in silk, streets filled with pulsating cocoons. And at its heart stood Spider-Man, bleeding, poisoned, and shaking. Before him, the Broodborn, its wings spread like a king's mantle. Beside it, MJ suspended in alien silk, her veins glowing, her voice layered with the hive's whispers. "Choose," the Broodborn hissed. "Join us, or lose her." Peter's breaking point. Peter staggered forward, mask torn, blood dripping onto the bridge. His heart pounded harder than the venom searing his veins. He looked at MJ, the love of his life, the anchor that kept him human. And now, on the edge of becoming something unrecognizable, her lips trembled under the silk. "Peter," she whispered, voice fractured between herself and the hive, "don't give in." But the hive's echo swallowed her words. "She is mine. Through her, the swarm will rise. Through her, you will kneel." Peter's fists shook. His spider sense screamed, not of danger, but of inevitability. This is it, the moment I can't win. The swarm descends. The Broodborn raised its claw. The sky darkened as a million drones poured down from the hive towers, blotting out the stars. Their buzzing rattled Peter's skull like a war drum. The first wave struck. Spider-Man leapt, dodging claws, fangs, acid spray. Webs snapped out in every direction, slamming drones into steel beams, hurling them into the river. He moved like lightning, desperation fueling every strike. But there were too many. His web cartridges ran dry. His arms grew heavy. His vision blurred. Drones bit at his legs, his back, his shoulders, tearing flesh. Still, he fought, because that's what Spider-Man does. The Hive's gift. The Broodborn descended, wings slicing the air, tail poised to strike. It slammed Peter to the ground, pinning him with impossible strength. Enough. You bleed. You fail. You fall. Its mandibles dripped acid inches from his mask. But you are valuable. Your blood resists. Your spirit endures. You are the perfect mate for my queen. MJ screamed through the silk, body writhing as alien energy surged through her. Her eyes blazed emerald. The Hive was almost finished with her transformation. Peter's heart split in two. He had one choice: join or lose her forever. The fall. The Broodborn pressed its claw against Peter's chest. Its venom seeped into his veins, burning hotter than fire, crawling into his mind. Visions exploded. He saw the Hive stretching across Earth. Cities drowned in silk. Humans reborn as drones. And at the center, himself. A spider twisted into the Hive's champion. Beside him, MJ, crowned in alien glory, the Hive Queen. And for the first time in his life, Peter felt peace. No more choices. No more responsibility. No more guilt. Just unity. Purpose. A world where he and MJ would never be apart. Resistance. No, he growled, forcing his body to fight the venom. Not like this. Not ever. He slammed his head forward, cracking the Broodborn's mandibles. He tore free, staggering toward MJ. But his body was weak. His mind was slipping. The Hive's voice filled his skull. Why resist? You suffer. You lose. Give in and she lives. Peter's hands trembled as he reached for MJ. Her glowing eyes locked onto his. Peter, she whispered, half herself, half Hive. Save me. Tears burn his eyes. I can't lose you, MJ. Not again. Not ever. The choice. And in that instant, he made the choice that would define him. He pressed his hand against the cocoon, letting the venom consume him. Take me, he whispered. Just let her go. The Broodborn screeched in triumph. Its claws pierced deeper, flooding him with Hive essence. Peter screamed as his veins glowed green, his muscles convulsing, his mask splitting apart. The Hive had claimed him. Transformation. His body twisted, bones cracking, skin hardening into bioarmor. His eyes burned neon green, 8 pupils fracturing across them like a spider's gaze. His webs turned black, dripping acid. His strength tripled, his senses heightened beyond comprehension. He was no longer Spider-Man. He was the Hive's knight. The swarm screeched in unison, bowing to him. The bridge shook with their devotion. And the Broodborn laughed, its voice echoing across the city. Behold, the spider has fallen. The queen shall rise. The world is ours. The new order. Peter stood beside MJ, both glowing with alien power. She reached for him, her touch gentle yet cold. Together, Peter, forever. And for the first time, he didn't know if he was hearing her or the Hive. Above them, the sky split with green lightning. The Hive's signal pulsed out into the universe, calling to others, inviting them. The invasion had only begun. The last web, the Hive rises. New York was gone. From the Empire State to Central Park, the city pulsed with alien silk, glowing veins crawling across skyscrapers like ivy. Millions of civilians hung cocooned, their screams muffled, their bodies twitching as transformation consumed them. Above it all, on the Brooklyn Bridge, 2 figures stood side by side. Spider-Man, no longer the hero, but the Hive's knight, his armor fused with alien carapace, eyes glowing with 8 fractured pupils. And MJ, the Hive Queen, her hair flowing like red silk, her skin patterned with glowing emerald veins, her voice layered with inhuman echoes. At their back, the Broodborn, wings stretched wide, the god who had made this world of insects. The swarm bowed in worship. A world in chains. The Hive signal pulsed across the globe. Insects everywhere. Ants, wasps, beetles, locusts turned unnatural, mutating, swelling into alien forms. Hives erupted across continents. Humanity was no longer at war with an army. Humanity was prey to a planet reborn. And Spider-Man, once the protector of New York, stood as the hive's enforcer. His mind burned with conflict. His body obeyed the hive. But somewhere deep inside, a voice whispered. A voice that refused to die. Uncle Ben's words. With great power comes great responsibility. The Queen's eyes. MJ turned to him, her glowing eyes filled with something alien, yet still hers. "Peter," she whispered, her voice both tender and terrifying. "We don't have to fight anymore. We could be together. Forever. No pain. No loss. No guilt." Her hand touched his chest. Warm. Familiar. And for a moment, he almost believed it. Almost. The last spark. Suddenly, his spider sense flared. Not the hive's pull. Not the venom's burn. His spider sense. Pure. Human. His own. He saw MJ. Not as the Queen, not as the vessel, but as the woman he loved. The one who made him laugh, who held him after nightmares, who believed in Peter Parker even when he didn't. And the hive's illusion cracked. Peter fell to his knees, clutching his head. "No, I'm not yours. I'll never be yours." The Broodborn screeched, wings shattering the air. "You are mine, Spider-Man. You chose. You kneel." Peter roared, slamming his fists into the ground. "No, I fall, but I get back up." We're on the bridge. The swarm descended. Thousands of drones hurled themselves at him, claws flashing, acid burning. But Spider-Man tore free of his alien armor, ripping the hive's veins from his body. His mask was gone, his skin raw, but his soul burned brighter than ever. He fought with everything left in him. Webs snapped across the bridge, slamming drones into steel beams. Fists crushed armored skulls. Feet shattered exoskeletons. He moved like fire, wild, desperate, unstoppable. And this time, he wasn't fighting to save the world. He was fighting for MJ. Breaking the Queen, he reached her cocoon, tearing through silk, holding her face in his hands. "MJ, listen to me. This isn't you. You're stronger than this. Fight it." Her voice cracked, split between human and hive. "Peter, I can't." He pressed his forehead to hers, tears burning. "Yes, you can. You've saved me 1,000 times. Now let me save you." For a moment, her eyes flickered, green fading to brown. The hive shrieked in fury. The final duel. The Broodborn dove, tail striking like a spear. Peter shoved MJ aside and caught the tail midair, muscles tearing, veins bursting, but he held. "Not today, Bug." He yanked, spinning the hive god into the bridge's steel support beams. The structure cracked, sparks flying. The two titans clashed, Spider-Man and the alien god. Claws against fists. Acid against web. Every blow rattled the city. Every strike felt like the end. But Peter kept fighting. Even broken, even bleeding, he refused to fall. The sacrifice. He knew he couldn't kill the Broodborn with fists. The hive was too vast. Its mind stretched across every drone. But there was one way. The bridge. He fired webs into every direction, anchoring cables, wrapping girders, pulling tighter and tighter. The structure groaned under impossible strain. The Broodborn lunged. Peter caught it, webbed it, pinned it against the heart of the bridge. "Hey, Bug, here's your eviction notice." He pulled. The Brooklyn Bridge collapsed, steel and stone tearing apart, dragging the hive god into the river below. The water boiled green as the Broodborn screeched, its wings snapping, its body dragged under. And Peter was dragged with it. The last web. MJ screamed. "Peter!" As the bridge crumbled around him, he fired one last web line toward her, not to save himself, but to place her out of the blast zone, clinging to a surviving tower as the structure fell. His mask torn, his body broken, he smiled at her one last time. "I love you, MJ. Always." The water swallowed him and the hive in a storm of acid and fire. Silence. The swarm collapsed. Across the city, drones shrieked and fell lifeless. Cocoons split open, releasing survivors. The hive's glow dimmed, and MJ, freed of its grip, collapsed to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Peter," she whispered into the silence. "Come back." But the river only roared. Epilogue: The Web That Remains. Days later, New York began to rebuild. The scars of the hive would never fully fade. MJ stood on the roof of their apartment, looking out over the city. In her hand was Peter's torn mask, the last piece of him she had left. Her tears glistened, but behind them was strength. Because Peter Parker had taught her one thing above all. Even when you fall, you rise again. And somewhere, deep below the river's surface, a faint web floated upward. Maybe, just maybe, the story wasn't over. Spiderweb: The End.